he may not be upset. It may be a posturing for a contract extension as you start to see what's left for Kyler Murray contractually with the Cardinals. But he has scrubbed all of his social media clean of any reference to the Cardinals. That includes photos that he would have posted on Instagram. And it's amazing how fans or media members will be able to figure this out. It takes more than one person to realize that all this stuff is gone. But it also takes a concerted effort on his part to remove it.
What are we, 4 weeks at least removed from their very poor playoff performance? So do we think we're just noticing this and he did it relatively soon after that, or we think this is relatively recent?
I think someone caught it pretty quickly when he decided to scrub every mention of the Cardinals from his account. It wouldn't have been
odd to me if an immature guy did this relatively quickly after a very disappointing loss at the end of a season that really went south when you were 10-1 or whatever you were, and then things took a turn. It'd be very odd for me if he's doing it like in the last couple days.
It's also a very easy troll opportunity. If you're the least bit unhappy or just want to get people talking, you could go and do this and make it happen. I don't know if that's the case with him. I liken it to the college football coach who suddenly follows players on a roster when there's coaching movement going on.
Yes.
Right? You always hear about that. Look at this coach who just followed, or this recruit who followed this defensive coordinator, or this coach. Oh, suddenly they're following all the players in this roster or recruits for another team, and it gets people talking about that. It's such an intentional move to go and do that there's clearly something behind it. We don't know if it's ultimately he's going to be asking out, but clearly unhappy. I have no other idea. What would the explanation be if someone reached Kyler Murray for comment and said, "Why did you do this?" Just I don't want to associate with one team. I'm completely happy though. I don't know why you would take it down.
No reason.
I'm trying to come up with an explanation.
Yeah, there's no reason.
He's about to go into an extensive contract negotiation where they're either going to try to get the best for the Cardinals price-wise, or they're going to slap that fifth-year option on him, which they can do this offseason. He's coming off of year 3. He's a first-round number 1 pick from 2019, so he's going to have the fifth-year option. And they can either do that or extend his contract because he's also eligible for a contract extension right now. The difference look, this isn't uncommon. It's very common to see these quarterbacks have the fifth-year option. We saw it with Patrick Mahomes and we saw it with Josh Allen.
At the very least, it's insurance.
It's insurance, but they also signed massive contract extensions before they even got close to their fifth year. And it would seem that while Murray should expect he's going to have that slapped on the backside of his contract, I think this is more or less a message sent like, hey, let's get this going now and not
sooner rather than later.
Let's not kick this can down the street or down the road. At least that's my read into it. If he's disgruntled and you're thinking about moving him, well, this would be the offseason to do that too, because you're trading a quarterback that's going into year 4 at a rookie contract that is very obtainable for another team. And Paul poo-poos any trade whatsoever, but we're in the era of trades in the NFL now like we've never seen before.
If I'm the Cardinals, I would simply say, hey, you're our guy. We have every intention of dealing with you, but we have other more pressing contract deadlines and an offseason with deadlines that we have to deal with first. And we have every intention of getting to you. I wouldn't necessarily do it this offseason. I would do it after next season. I still have control of you for the 5th season. That number will be big, and I'd like to negotiate a long-term deal before your 5th season. In the meantime, I get to see the 4th season.
Because if you pick up the 5th-year option, Paul, it is now 100% guaranteed.
Right, but it doesn't touch my cap until that 5th season. I'll get it down before that 5th season.
But if you're going to move him, you move him now.
Well, I've got no interest in moving him.
Well, why not? What if you can get Aaron Rodgers there?
Well, yeah, and in that sense, I'd have interest in moving him.
But that's a move. That would be the move. Is you talk about the Titans could never get the Packers to take Ryan Tannehill and his contract. Well, would the Packers take Kyler Murray on a rookie deal?
Hell yeah.
Yes.
If Aaron Rodgers is unhappy? Again, would the Tampa Bay Buccaneers take on that contract if Tom Brady feels like Arizona is a better spot to go win a Super Bowl?
Sure.
Let's get wild. Let's get crazy this offseason.
No,
Why not?
You don't
All
have
these
to get
things.
wild. I think this is the new norm, where you're
Quarterbacks taking autonomy over everything is certainly we're heading in that direction.
But the quarterbacks who are able to drive that conversation make this happen. I don't know if Kyler Murray's at that level.
No.
But I watched that playoff game, and I don't put much of that performance on Kyler Murray. I put that squarely on the decision-making and game plan of Cliff Kingsbury, which I thought was atrocious.
I don't know what he's particularly upset with. I mean, I think that's a team that was about where, like we said, the Bengals were ahead of schedule this year. That's about what I mean, I didn't expect it to be so jarring, like
that's what it's been
a
every
patch
year.
of winning and a patch of losing. Yeah, that's what they've done. But
For the last 3 years.
they've gotten better.
They're
He's
a year
part
ahead of
it.
where the Cincinnati should be.
Well, and
they're coming off of 3 years with the head coach and the quarterback together.
Yeah.
And we just talked about why he may
It's
be
his
mad.
franchise. I think he's in shape with it as his franchise. And if I were him, I'd say this is my franchise to take
But here
forward.
again, here it is. It's my franchise. Let's negotiate the extension now and get out ahead of this. And if the Cardinals come back and say no, we're going to go into a prove-it situation, then he's going to be upset.
I would.
That's why he would take it down and be
I
upset.
understand that, but I would massage it as best I could as the Cardinals, as it not being a prove-it situation, as it being I have pressing stuff I have to deal with ahead of you that has deadlines on it. And deadlines are the thing that make me order things.
You may be able to get him for a cheaper price if you extend him right
earlier. Maybe.
Coming off of year 3 where they've really gone downhill to close both of the last 2 seasons.
We also know how the market works from year to year, and the price of a long-term quarterback contract this year will seem outrageous, and then last year's contract will seem far less outrageous.
Well, and the situation with Kingsbury, you're entering a season where it can be viewed definitely a prove-it season for Cliff Kingsbury as the coach, but also possibly for Kyler Murray.